Hello and welcome back to Afterglow episode 36. We are getting ready to go into December 2023, the Christmas season. So from now till Christmas, I'm going to be covering a batch of games I got from Christmases past. And I'm going to probably start out with one of the bigger ones. I've been holding off on doing this game for a little bit. It is one of the first ones I thought of whenever I started the podcast, but I kind of wanted to wait a little bit, and I feel like now's the right time, because this is one game that I did get over Christmas, and I have a ton of love for this game, as I'm sure many of you do. I'm going to be talking about Mario 3 today. I'm going to share some audio and well, not some, but just one commercial. And then I'll be getting into my memories of Super Mario Bros. 3. Might go a little long on this one, I don't know, because I do really enjoy this game. But we'll see after the music cut.
Mario! 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 Mario!
He's back. All you had to do was ask. Super Mario Bros. 3 from Nintendo. Now you're playing with power.
welcome back. So, without spoiling some other episodes that'll be coming down the road, I got an NES and I loved Mario 1, the packing game. And for a while, it was one of the very, very few games I had for the system, so it got a lot of gameplay. Mario 2, I had borrowed and I enjoyed it. It's a really good game, but to me, it doesn't have the feel of a Mario game. Of course, we all know the story why. I won't go into it. The whole Doki Doki Panic thing. But it didn't have the same feel. But then Mario 3 came out. And my first time seeing Mario 3 was actually in The Wizard, of all things. The movie. My parents had rented it and watched it. And, of course, they had the Mario 3 preview at the end. And I'm like, yes! And one huge thing I don't hear talked about very often was that movie gave some gameplay tips. Like the fact that you can duck behind the white block. I'm pretty sure that was in the movie. And then the first warp whistle, I believe, was also in the movie. How to get to that. Two kind of obscure things that you wouldn't know unless you really got lucky or you were told by someone. So it was a good way for Nintendo to get some cheats for the game out there. So this is one of the games that I remember the rental store having multiple copies of. Like you would go in and they would have a whole row of boxes for Mario 3. And you're looking behind each box hoping to find a copy that you can rent. And 9 times out of 10, I could not rent a copy. Did rent it a couple times and absolutely loved it. Begged for it for Christmas, and my grandmother actually ended up getting me the game for Christmas. And this is one of those games I would really consider it the best game on the NES. I wouldn't call it my favorite. My favorite is still Final Fantasy, but Final Fantasy has some major bugs in it, whereas Mario 3 is so polished. Just from the opening where you see the curtain raise up. The fact that you get this overworld at first to kind of explore, and it gives you a little preview of what's to come with all the levels coming up. I love. The little Hammer Brothers are on the stage. The fact that you have item storage on the overworld that you can use either to start a level with an item or use an item on the overworld itself to maybe skip a level to put a Hammer Brother to sleep. So many cool little touches. The fact that if you're playing 2-player alternating, you can challenge the other player to a version of the original Mario Brothers where you're trying to steal the cards from each other. And I didn't mention it, but you get a card at the end of each level. 3 cards gets you an extra life. If the cards match, you can either get, I believe it's a 2-up for mushrooms, a 3-up for flowers, or a 5-up for stars. Well, I'm not even scratching the surface. Haven't talked a lot about my memories yet, just because the game is so good. I mean, I remember, not really wanting to use warp whistles much at all at first, because I wanted to explore the game worlds. And it was so much fun. The grass world definitely kind of reminded me of, the theming of Mario 1, in a way. I imagined the first world as literally the area where Mario 1 took place. With all the worlds thereafter, Mario literally exploring the world. The desert world I really, really enjoyed. It has some shocker moments, like whenever the sun comes after you. The fact that you can break a block on the world map to explore an entirely different area of the world map that is hidden. Really enjoyed that. The new power-ups in the game also. Dear God, they were so cool as a kid. I loved Raccoon Mario. The P-Wing was awesome. And I always called it the P-Wing. Never thought it was a P-Glove. Toby. Shout out to Secret Levels. But, yeah, I really, really thought that the P-Wing was an awesome item. The frog suit was one that's I originally got it. I'm like, this feels weird. I don't like it. Then you try it in the water level, and oh dear God, it makes the controls so much better in a water level. Normal Mario controls in the water level, it's like Mario 1, where you tap the jump button to kind of swim up a little bit as you're continually sinking. Whereas with the frog suit, you literally just push the direction you want to go, and you go there. It's such a cool touch, right? But the next world that really stood out for me was the Giant Land, as I call it, which everything looked so cool. I'm like, I've never seen my NES do something like this, where it looks like all the enemies are just enlarged. Like a Goomba is huge now. The shells are huge, and you can still carry them. There's these big fat hammer brothers that come at you throwing hammers, and that world was a blast. You get the world where you go up into the clouds in the sky, where you have to climb a huge tower to get to the upper part of the world, which I loved. The Iceland, that's the part where I think the game started to get a little more difficult. Still really enjoyable. I've never been a fan of slick floors to begin with, and of course, an Iceland is going to be full of them. But really, really loved that too. The pipe area, I know some people enjoy that area. Was almost like I still liked it, but it felt like it was a little bit of a chore to get through. But then you get to Bowser's World with all the tanks coming at you and the boat fleet that you gotta go through has a little trick that where you can actually swim under the boat as it's scrolling. And then the final castle with Bowser is really, really cool. You've got these Bowser statues that'll shoot lasers at you. The final fight with Bowser, where you have to dodge him as he eventually takes himself out by falling through his own floor, unless you go in powered up with some hammers and some fireballs and you manage to take him down that way. So, like, the game is just an amazing journey, and I tore through it as a kid. Like, I've used most of the time I used to talk about the game just talking about the game without even hitting my memories. I love this game so much. But, I played it like mad as a kid, and I eventually like got to the point where I memorized a lot of it. And my mom really enjoyed it too, and she got a little upset at me because I actually loaned it out to someone else because I wanted to play Turtles 2, the arcade game, and he had a copy of it. So we swapped for a little bit, and she's like, "You got rid of your Christmas present?" And I'm here like, "No, no, we just swapped games." And she was like fairly upset about it. I think it's because she enjoyed the game so much too. But it's just an amazing game. Of course, I did end up swapping back. I do love the Turtles 2 game, which we've covered before. But absolutely adore this game. And I think the other part of the reason she might have gotten upset is I believe Mario 3, 1, was hard to find at first, and 2, it was a more expensive NES game than a lot of the other ones. Loved my time with it. Eventually got to replay it on the Super Nintendo as part of the All Stars collection. And that was so much fun too, just because it was a remastered version. The graphics got a big boost, the music got a big boost, but the gameplay was still perfect. And it was just a great experience to be able to replay that game. All Stars is also where I got a bit more respect for Mario 2 for some reason. But man, like I said, Mario 3 is definitely, like, for me at least, it's the heavyweight on the Lost Levels cartridge. I enjoyed this game so much, and then I eventually bought it again for a third time on the Game Boy Advance with Mario Advance 4, I think, which ended up being Mario Brothers 3. This one had some bonuses to it. You could use an e-card reader to scan cards to get power-ups and items and whatnot. I never had the e-card reader, though, and I never could use that feature. Kind of a bummer there. That being said, I continued to play this game, of course, through emulation. I don't feel it's piracy if I've rebought the game like 6 times, which I probably have, because I got it again whenever I started collecting cartridges, both the NES version and the Super Nintendo Lost Levels, on top of still having my cartridge for the Game Boy Advance. Whenever the Wii came out, and it came out for the Wii Points shop, I absolutely bought it there. Like, I've bought this game so many times. Never got it for the Wii U because I never had a Wii U, and that's almost kind of a bummer because the Wii U version, if I remember right, also released the Game Boy Advance version, but it had all the extra content you could get from the e-reader, so I need to go back and check that out at some point because I really want to experience all those extra levels that it had to offer. But again, on Switch, whenever it was released on there as part of the Nintendo Online, played it there too and beat it. This is one of those games that, in my opinion, never gets old, and it is like, if you want to go back and play NES games and you don't know where to start, this is like the perfect start. It is, in my opinion, the perfect NES game, and there's nothing else that can beat it as far as quality goes. It's one I'll go back and replay anytime. I'm probably going to go back and play it again after recording this, just because it makes me so amped up to play every time I talk about it. I know a lot of people feel that Super Mario World kind of surpassed it. Not in my opinion, though. In this guy's opinion, Mario 3 was better than Mario World. And I know it's probably fighting words to some of you guys out there. And I do really, really like Mario World. I feel it's a fantastic game. I just enjoyed Mario 3 more just because I felt like it was a bigger jump. Like, the jump from Mario 1 to 2 was decent. But again, Mario 2 didn't feel like the Mario game for obvious reasons. But the jump from Mario 2 to Mario 3 was massive. Just in the way the level design worked, and the way that you had the overworld now. It's like an entirely different part of the game with new stuff that you could do. All the extra new items that Mario could use to power up that you had never seen before. Like, Mario Land actually took some of that away. Like, in Mario Land, you got the mushroom, the fire flower, and the cape. I think that's about it. Whereas Mario 3, you got your mushroom, you got your fire flower, but you got your frog suit, you got your Tanuki suit, you got your Hammer Brothers suit. Like, there's more there. If I remember right, Mario World might have more levels, but I kind of enjoy the level design more in Mario 3. Not to say that Mario World is bad level design. It has an awesome level design. I just think that Mario 3 had that extra step to it. But anyway, I'm going to close this out because this is going to be a 20-minute show at the rate we're going today. I hope you enjoyed listening, though. I will see you on the next Afterglow for more memories of Christmas video games.